Welcome back. I'm going to make this watering pail. It's design form tutorial number 3. There are 4 activities and I'll just go through them, and I hope this is helpful for you. So I'll move my instructions off to my hidden monitor, and I have Fusion up. First thing you need to do, alright, is set your cube here so that Y is up. Alright, so click on your name, go to Preferences. You get this dialog, and right here, the default modeling orientation, make sure that's Y up, because that's what they're using in the tutorial. Alright, so do that. Okay, now we're going to click Create Form, create a box, click the blue-red plane, which is the ZX plane. Click that. Okay, then click the origin. Then some point on the canvas out here, and you'll get this dialog. The numbers they want you to use, you can just key in 185, 250, and another 185. Click OK. And you get this thing here. All right. Now go to your view cube, click this corner down here, and you'll see the bottom of this thing. So hold down Shift and click this thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing. Holding down Shift, then just press the delete key and open that up. Right? Now we're going to stretch the bottom down, make some new edges. So you go Modify, Edit Form, double click this line to get all these edges around here, and then hold this arrow, this down arrow, or hold down Alt, right? So you got to hold down the Alt key and then drag this down arrow, okay, and you'll get another edge. So stop at -10 and then let go of everything. So we just created a new edge. Now we want to make another edge smaller than that. So we'll use this stretch command and hold down Alt again. So press Alt and drag this stretch command like that. Right? And then let go, and then you can finish it off by keying in 0.85. Enter. Then while you still have this edge selected, go up to Modify, Fill Hole, and you might need to change this fill hole mode to collapse, and click OK, and that's that. All right, then back to the home view. Okay, the next thing is to add some new edges. So go Modify, Edit Form, double click this line, and you get these 2 edges, and then double click this line. You got to hold down Shift. Basically, pick by holding down Shift and double clicking those 8 edges around there. Then go to Modify, Bevel Edge, and the defaults are 0.5 and 1 for the segments. You click OK, you get this thing. So what it did is it added these surfaces right here, and it sort of made the 4 surfaces inside a little bit smaller. Okay, so select those 4 surfaces and go to Modify, Edit Form, and you get this control dialog thing. Then you want to drag up. What are we going to do here? We're going to grab this. I don't think my viewpoint is right. Let me click the home button. Yeah. You have to have the correct home view up, and then you'll see this on this control. There's this corner right here that you can drag and do that. Okay, and then key in 0.85, and it just makes it more pointy like that. So then click OK, and that's that. So that was activity 1. So the next thing is to do the handle. So you're going to need to draw a sketch. So go over to the browser and turn on the origin. That gives you these 3 planes in here. And then expand the bodies and turn off this body you just created. I had to press escape there to get rid of my selection. Alright, so I turned on the origin, I turned off the body with the little eyeball. These little eyeballs right here. And now you can select the plane. So I'm gonna create a new sketch. So hover over this plane here, the green-blue plane, which is the YZ plane. Right-click it and select Create Sketch. Puts you in this mode. Now you can turn the body back on because you need that as a reference on where to draw the sketch. Okay, now go up to this this button here, the Fit Point and Spline. Okay. It's also on here somewhere, line, which one of these is it? Spline, I guess. Fit Point Spline. Anyway, find your Fit Point Spline, which for me is this button right here. And you have to eyeball this a little bit. So it doesn't even matter if it's on the grid, I don't think, but just eyeball a point about so, then another one about so, and then another one maybe here, and then another one like here. I'm just eyeballing it using what's in the tutorial. And the last point, they want you to go down about here. Okay, now you always have this little check box, this little green check thing, and when you hover over it, it turns green. Click that to accept it. And that's our sketch, so we can click Finish Sketch now in the dialog. And let's see, let's zoom around to see what we did. Okay, so it drew a sketch in the YZ plane. Right, now we need another sketch, so we need to insert a plane. So go up here to Construct and do this plane along path thing. Click that, and then click this path. Okay, now there's this arrow you could drag, and you see what, as you drag along, the plane is always perpendicular to the path. Okay, now so drag around this away, click the arrow and drag it down until it bottoms out that way. Okay, so that's our plane. So we drew this plane at the end point of this yellow plane here is at the end point of this curve right here. All right, now we're going to draw on that plane. Now, if you're lucky, you can click the plane because it pokes out of the body. If it doesn't, you'll have to make the body invisible so you can select it. But so click the plane, then right-click it and do Create Sketch. Okay, and now we're lined up. We're lined up looking straight down on that plane. If you want, you can expand the construction and turn on the visibility of that plane, and maybe turn off the body visibility, because this is what we want right here. We want to draw on this plane. We want to draw a 25 millimeter circle. So click your center diameter circle button and click the center of the plane, and then you can just key in 25. Enter. There's our circle. And I'm done with that sketch, so I can click Finish Sketch. And I get this. Okay, so the body's turned off, but I could toggle it back on if I want. All right, now I'm going to do a sweep. All right, so click Create, then Sweep. So it's asking for the profile in this sweep dialog. So that I click this curve, that's the profile, and then click the Select Path button. Oh, I did that wrong. I'll click this X up here to cancel the profile. Okay, the profile is this curve right here, just the circle, not the area inside, just the circle, and then the path, select button, and then click the path. And it does that, boom. And let's see, are there any options I need to change? Faces 12. I think I'm good. The first time you do this, the options may be different, so make sure you check your options. So see, I've done this tutorial a couple of times, and I already have the default options that the tutorial is asking for. But check your options, all right? Read the instructions. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. All right, I'm going to turn the body back on, and then click this right face button just to get a head-on view of this thing. Okay, so the path we extruded is too long. We need to cut off some faces. So make sure so click this drop down on select and make sure you're selecting the way you want. I like window selection, but there's other ways to select. Okay, but I get by with window selection. Okay, I think what they're asking you to do in the instructions is go like this and select those 8 faces. Let me do it again. And then you can hold down shift and get rid of this. No, I don't want this edge. I can click it again. Now what's going on? What happens if I just press delete? It's too much. It didn't delete. Oh, it did delete the edge. That's not good. Let me try. Let's see. If I hold down, maybe if I hold down Control and click this edge. Yeah, Control unselects. That's a standard Windows kind of a thing. But anyway, if I get these 8 edges selected and press delete, it's way too short, right? So I'm going to Control Z. What does work though, and I'll turn the body off, no, I'll turn off body 1 visibility. What does work is selecting just this circle there, those 8 edges right there, and press delete. That's better. So I don't know if the tutorial is wrong or whatever, but anyway, I just selected the edges at the end of this thing. Okay, then the same. Well, over on this side, I couldn't really get it to work. I think I did go to freeform selection, and then you can kind of drag in here like this and just get the things that cross it if you drag counterclockwise. And if you delete those, this is what happens. And that's about the best that I could do. So what I ended up doing, which is not in the tutorial, I ended up going modify, edit form. I double clicked this edge, and then I grabbed this little rotate wheel and I turned it about like that. And then this little plane right here, I grab this plane and I kind of move the thing down in there. And if you use this wheel and this plane, it'll stay on the center line of the teapot. Okay, that's what I did. So so what's next? Okay, next we need to cut some holes in body 1 so that we can connect the handle up to it. And this surface is too big, so we need to make these surfaces smaller, so that's a subdivide. So modify, subdivide, click these. Oh wait, so you got to click the planes first, so otherwise it tries to subdivide everything. So hold down shift and click these 4 planes, then go modify, subdivide, and put in 2 on length faces and 2 on width faces, and it just chops it up into more faces. And click OK. Okay, then that allows you to select, I think it's these 4 faces, holding down shift and then press delete. It makes that hole right there. And you can do a bridge command. So you go modify, bridge, double click this edge, double click this edge, check your defaults that they match the tutorial, say OK, and it does that. Right, it blends it in here, or bridges it. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. So now this, and this. Yeah, that's, I doubt that's going to work, but I'm going to punch my, you know, I don't like that. Yeah, well, that's probably all right. So I'll delete that. And I don't think it's going to blend, so I'm going to move this hole down. So I'm going to go modify, edit form. I'm going to double click this edge, and using this, you got to get the right little square in there. It's this little square. That'll move it in the YZ plane. Move it down about so, maybe a little bit more, like that. Just moving it in the YZ plane. Okay, then right click somewhere to escape out of that. Yeah. All right, now I can do a bridge. So modify bridge. Double click this line. Double click this line. Click OK, and boom, does it. All right. Okay, the next thing is to make the spout. So let's go back to the home view here and just so what we're going to do is where's the front of this thing? Yeah, it looks like the home view is looking at the back of this thing, so you got to turn it around kind of like that. All right, so we need some sketch planes. We need to set up some sketch planes, do some construction. So click the construction button and do plane at an angle. Click that. Then they want you to click this red axis here at the origin. Click the red axis, and then key in an angle 7 degrees. Okay, and click OK, and it made an angle in there. If you can, I don't know if you guys can see, but this in there, I could turn the body off. It made this plane right here that's inclined 7 degrees relative to the 3 principal planes. Okay, then you need to offset that plane. So go construct, offset plane, click this plane that you just made, and key in minus 155. All right, and then click OK. So it just made this plane right here. Now we're going to draw on that plane. All right, so but every once in a while I'm clicking off in the canvas just to unselect everything. All right, so click this plane and then right click it and go create sketch, and it does this. Okay, what's weird here is that this new plane is not centered on the body of the thing. Like if you turn the body back on, it almost looks like the body is offset a little bit. See the green line right here? It's because this new plane has its own origin, right? So I haven't learned how to fix that yet, or even if we need to fix it, but that's what's happening. The plane that we just drew has a different origin. So we need to draw an ellipse now. So go to create ellipse, and you want it to be centered on this teapot, but the plane, you can't use the plane origin because that's not centered. So what they ask you to do is just use the body here, but there is no object snap. I don't think they've implemented object snap yet. This is only version 2 of Fusion. It doesn't have OSnap like Rhino does. Rhino's up to version 6 now. But anyway, so I think just eyeball this thing, but get the grid snap. So right, the grid snap is the little blue box. So basically what I did is I got a grid snap that's close to these two black lines right here, because that's what's in the tutorials, those black lines. But you can't snap to the black lines. You can only snap to the grid. Okay, so that's what I did. So I clicked there, All right, now we're drawing an ellipse. So there's a couple different ways to do this, which is confusing and you probably need to practice. But first, drag out somewhere and make sure that you have this 180 showing, 180 degrees, and then don't worry about the distance. Just make sure you have 180 and click somewhere. Then come up here and click somewhere. And that's that. We have an ellipse now. Right now we're still in the ellipse command, which is confusing. So we need to. Canceling doesn't get you out of it. It's freaky. You just have to start another command, I think. Oh wait, I did get out of it. Okay, well, I take that back. So I escaped out of that. Now I need to add a dimension. So you click this this dimension button, then click the ellipse, which is the thing we're dimensioning, and then you'll see this thing happening here, and you could add a vertical dimension by mousing over here and a horizontal dimension by mousing over here. So we want this horizontal dimension first. Click, then key in 2.5, enter, and then we're still in the dimension command. So you can click the ellipse again, and then mouse over this side and click, and then type 17.5 and enter, and we have an ellipse. Okay, I can escape out of the ellipse command, out of the dimension command. All right, now I'm gonna click my home button. I just like to get my orientation, so I'm gonna orbit around. Yeah, you can see the plane. You can see the sketch plane that we just did. We just drew this ellipse in. Okay, now we need another ellipse at the other end of the spout. Right, this ellipse we just drew is one end of the spout. It's going to be one end of the spout. So you turn that plane back. No. What you do is you make another plane, right? It's weird what's happening. See, plane 3 is this one that we offset way back here from the origin, and then we drew like on that plane, but way up here from its origin. So we're still drawing on plane 3, just not at the center of plane 3, kind of way up in here. So they're asking you to make another plane and then offset it. I think they're just getting you to practice making planes and construction planes. It's a pretty good lab for that. All right, so we need to add another plane. So go back to oh, I'm done with the sketch, this ellipse sketch. So click Finish Sketch. All right, then go back to construct plane at an angle, and then click this axis of the ellipse. Make sure you did this one horizontal, right? Otherwise it'll get all screwed up. So click that axis, and then this one they want it to be inclined at 7 degrees, or is it -7? It's actually 5, so 5 degrees. Okay, then click OK. So we just made a new plane through one of the axes of the ellipse. Freaky stuff. Then offset that guy. So go up to Construct, Offset Plane, click this plane, and the dimension is -200. And click OK. All right, so here's what we got, right? We started at the origin, made a plane through an axis, offset it, used that to draw an ellipse. Then we made another plane through that ellipse and offset that. All right, it's a lot of plane offsetting. Okay, now we're going to draw an ellipse in this new plane that we just made. So click it, right click it, go create sketch. There's too much stuff, so you might want to turn off the visibility of some of these other planes, maybe even the body. Yeah, but the new plane that we drew is nice, although you don't really need that. So now we're going to make another ellipse. So create ellipse. Now here I'm just using the grid, and it will be lined up if you use the grid, because we may just the way that the planes are constructed. So anyway, they want you to put just at the center. Okay, so click for the center of the ellipse is the center of this other ellipse, and then it's 25 by 15. So but here they're just asking you to do this ellipse. Sorry, my mouse is getting a little sticky. Just by keying in 25 and press. Okay, here you got to be careful. You key in the 25, and then you can move the mouse and the 25 won't change, but the angle will. See, the 25 is staying the same, but the angle will change. So you got to practice with this. So you key in the 25, but you want the 0. So when you have 0, then click. All right. Okay, then move the mouse up. And the only option you have here is just to key in 15. If you move the mouse too much, that 15 will go away. Can't get it to do it. Anyway, key in 15 and press enter. Boom. This is just a different way to draw an ellipse, and they want you to kind of practice those two ways. So what do we got? Let's click Finish Sketch. Then go back to the home view, and let me turn on a couple of things. So here's the body. Yeah, this is what we got, right? We got all of this junk right here. So we're going to do a loft, but look, observe, there's an ellipse here, and then there's another ellipse here, and they're off by 5 degrees, right? Because we put this plane through here at 5 degrees and then offset it. So these two ellipses are out of the plane. Their planes are off by 5 degrees. So we're going to do a loft now. So I'll turn it a little bit so it looks pretty. Okay, then go to Create, Loft. The first profile is this ellipse. The second profile is this ellipse. And it does this. It just goes straight across. But if you go to Profile 2 and change this drop down here to Direction, then it does this, where it adds this little arrow, which you can stretch and get some weirdness here. That's the takeoff weight. It's like how much. Well, first of all, by clicking this direction, it made this loft come out perpendicular to this circle. Instead of straight from ellipse to ellipse, it starts off by being perpendicular. You could change the first one to direction if you want, and then they're both perpendicular, which is kind of cool. They don't ask you to do that. So then they ask for a specific. So the second one is direction, and they ask for a specific value on the takeoff weight of 1.5, and then click OK. Okay, so the fact that these two ellipses were in different planes made this have a little bit of a curve to it when you set the direction option. All right, last thing, or a couple more things to do. Punch a hole in this thing and connect it. So hold down Shift and click, and delete. Press the delete button. All right, then go up to Create, Modify, Bridge. Double click this edge. Double click this edge. You should get 2 little white arrows if you did it right. And then click OK, and boom, does that. You could turn the planes off if they're bothering me a little bit. Okay, we got to punch a hole in the top. So hold down Shift and click. I think it's this. Hold down Shift and click these dudes. And you might have to scroll or orbit around to get these guys. You should have that many, and then just press delete. That's it. Then, so last thing to do, right now this is just one surface. Like if you tried to 3D print this, nothing would come out because none of these surfaces enclose a volume. right? Even though it looks like you could pour water into this, it's not a volume. Okay, you need the material that this was made of would be some, you know, whatever, plastic or whatever, but it would have a thickness to it, right? So that's the thicken command. So you go modify thicken, and it's asking for an object, which is the whole thing. So just click on the thing, and then 2.5 is what they want you to enter, and then soft over here, and then click OK. And boom, does that. And then we can click finish form now. And there it is. Okay. Kind of a goofy looking teapot or water pail if you ask me, but there it is. All right, I hope this was useful for you. Thanks.